All right, here's our video on buffers. But first things first is I need to finish the question that I didn't finish last video, when my 15 minutes was up. So here we were looking at this multiple choice question, equivalence point happening around pH 9, and so there I was having trouble with my data booklet and finding those A, B, C, D choices. All right, I found it. I had some coffee. And so here we are. Finally found my methyl red. Nope, that's not going to do it. The only choice that would fit here in this particular case would be the thymophthalate with its transition point in that 9-ish pH range. So that matches up to the equivalence point of that particular titration curve. And so here our answer would be my pen, and our answer would be C, right? Thymophthalate. Okay. So then let's go to my buffer notes. I hope you've had the chance to download that Word document. And within that Word document, you'll see some blanks. And let's see where those blanks are here for us. Let's grab my highlighter. So what is a buffer? A buffer is an equilibrium system. So a little bit later on, you'll see me talk about Le Chatelier again. Oh yeah, equilibrium, Le Chatelier. And the job of a buffer is that it's a solution that helps us to maintain relatively constant pH. So whatever that pH is, and it could be at 7, it could be at 5, it could be at 10, we want to have the solution remain constant, even if we are adding small amounts of an acid or a base. We would like that system to remain constant in pH. And a good example of that is your blood. Your blood is perfect pH 7.4. And we would hate to consume, I don't know what, can of Coke, something quite acidic, and we would hate for our blood to change in pH, and that would mess a lot of enzymes, that would mess up a lot of our chemical reactions, or the metabolism of our body, right? So a buffer solution helps us to keep and maintain that homeostasis that you've been hearing about in your biology class. How do we create a buffer in general? A buffer is, we can make it with a weak acid along with its conjugate weak base. And that allows us to make an acidic buffer. We can also make a basic buffer by using a weak base and then its conjugate acid. But let's stick with this one for the time being. Our weak acid is our acetic acid, and our conjugate weak base, so the conjugate base of the acetic acid, is our acetate ion. And having a solution that contains more than just the acetic acid, but by adding some extra acetate, we get this equilibrium system. And this particular equilibrium system is an interesting one. We have equal concentrations of this, and we have equal concentrations of that. It's important that we have approximately equal concentrations so that we have enough so that the system is not overwhelmed and cannot do its job. So what is going on with this equilibrium system when a little bit of an acid or a little bit of a base is added? Let's have a look at the first example. What if a little bit of acid is added to this equilibrium system? So let's say we put a little bit of hydrochloric acid in or nitric acid in. Now normally if you were to put an acid in any solution that's not buffered, its pH would go down, right? We're adding more hydronium ion, and so therefore the pH goes down. But here in this equilibrium, let me just grab a pen, blue one. So when we're adding some acid, what we've done is essentially we've increased the concentration of the hydronium. And so if that hydronium concentration goes up, let's think about the shift. The system is going to shift to the left. Oh yeah, right. And how we're able to shift to the left sufficiently is the fact that we have enough of the acetate ion to react with any additional hydronium such that we can have the system shift to the left. And by shifting to the left allows us to bring the concentration of hydronium back down close to where we had been. So the overall effect of adding an acid to this buffer is that the pH will go down only slightly. It's not going to stay at the same exact pH, but just go down in pH ever so slightly, maintaining pretty constant pH. Let's go through our next example. Still the same buffer system. This time around, what if we are to add a base? Well, if we're adding a base, let's see. Our base is going to react with our hydronium, and so therefore, in essence, we've decreased. Here, I'll write it down here. So in essence, we've decreased the concentration of our hydronium. And I'm just going to erase that up here. And so if we decrease the concentration of hydronium, our pH is going to go up. But luckily, we have this equilibrium system, and this equilibrium system is going to allow us to shift to the right. Let me see where my pen is. Oh, there we are. So the system is going to shift to the right, bringing our pH back down close to where it had been. So by adding a bit of base to our equilibrium system, pH will go up just ever so slightly, but still pretty close to the original pH. So let's just sit here for a moment and admire what this buffering equilibrium system allows us to do. So by creating this buffer, creating an equilibrium system that contains approximately equal concentrations of a weak acid and its conjugate base, the overall big picture is this equilibrium system is able to absorb any additional acid or additional base that might come in, and the pH won't change all that much. Okay, got it. And going back to our blood example, that's pretty important. So this little blurb down here, just a reminder that similarly we can make a basic buffer. A basic buffer can be made by a weak acid like ammonia, and then its conjugate acid, ammonium. Again, we would have those two concentrations at approximately equal, like say 1 molar concentration, and that would be sufficient to form a buffering system. Ooh, here's a good question. Which of the following could be used to form a buffer solution? Oh man, I already put the answer up. Okay, let's take a look at why the answer is D. And not A, not B, not C. Well, having a look at A, we have a combination that is a strong acid and a strong base. So with a strong acid and strong base, it's just going to neutralize, right? It's simply a neutralization reaction forming water and sodium bromide. So there is no equilibrium system established. Nope, so that's not going to do it. The next one, hydrochloric acid is a strong acid, ammonium chloride, I guess we have its conjugate base, but again, the hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. So it just fully ionizes, and again, we don't have an equilibrium system. So if we don't have an equilibrium system, nope, that's not going to allow us to shift to the left, shift to the right, to absorb any incoming acid base. Third one, again, is one of those situations. The nitric acid is a strong acid. Yeah, I know the conjugate base is there, but again, we're not going to have an equilibrium system. So finally, D is the answer. We do have our weak acid here, which is our carbonic acid, and we do have its conjugate base, which is our hydrogen carbonate. And so this combination of our weak acid and its conjugate base allows us to establish that equilibrium that we need. Yep, answer is D. Good. So I hope that you had a chance to fill in your worksheet, your handout. If not, you can always find this in my OneNote notebook as well. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go back here to some of my sample questions and see if we are able to answer any more. Let's try this one. Consider this buffer system. So they've already told us that this is a buffer equilibrium. And it is a buffer. It is a weak acid, HCN, with its conjugate base. And they didn't tell us what the concentrations are, but we can assume that they are approximately equal concentration because they told us that they've created this buffering system. What is the net result of adding a small amount of nitric acid? So, what do you think? What's the answer? I guess you can always pause this to think. Let me go over the answer now. The answer is B. And you're like, what? How could it be B? Didn't you tell us that the pH doesn't change that much? Yeah, I said that pH is not going to change that much, but it will change ever so slightly. Okay? So adding this nitric acid, the stress essentially to our equilibrium system is we've increased the concentration of hydronium. So if we increase the concentration of hydronium, the system is going to shift to the left. So when we shift to the left, we are going to make more HCN. So it is not true that the HCN concentration goes down. No, shifting to the left is actually going to increase it. Shifting to the left also means that we use up some of the CN-1. So this is the reason why C is not happening. The CN-1 is actually going to decrease in concentration. So then we're left with those two choices. So let's go back. Adding hydronium, it's kind of like this. Remember the equilibrium section? We drew curves. It's kind of like we've increased the concentration of hydronium. Okay, where did we go? And we shift to the left to bring it back down, but we never quite bring it back down to where it had been. So then the net effect at the end of all of this is ever so slightly an increase of hydronium. And so increasing the concentration of hydronium brings our pH down, right? So that's why the answer is B. pH goes down just so slightly due to the hydronium concentration being just a little bit higher than where we had started. So that's our answer to 37, a buffer question. Let's see if there's another one of those around. Oh yeah, I better hurry up. Number 36, and the answer is D. Good job. Here we have an example of a weak base and then its conjugate acid. All right, that's it for today. See you next time.